Today on the podcast, I'm thrilled to welcome Philippe Gerwill, a global thought leader in digital health, innovation, and the future of healthcare. Philippe defines himself as both a humanist and a futurist, always seeking ways to blend cutting-edge technology with a deep respect for human values. With a background spanning executive roles in pharma, advisory positions with leading medtech accelerators, and a passion for emerging technologies like AI and the metaverse, Philippe has dedicated his career to inspiring better healthcare worldwide. He's served as a mentor, board advisor, and innovation advocate across Europe, the Middle East, and beyond, helping startups, organizations, and professionals navigate rapid change. Philippe's unique perspective bridges business, technology, and human-centered care, making him a sought-after speaker and influencer in the global health ecosystem. Get ready for a fascinating conversation.
Welcome back to Uncharted Narratives. If you're just joining us, we're continuing our second-part conversation. Now let's continue our journey and uncover more remarkable stories and insights.
Yeah, speaking of Thailand, I interviewed a successful woman doctor. She is a neurosurgeon. She left the neurosurgeon after 10 years of experience, and now she is starting her startup company, and she aiming to build it as Health Open AI. Now she have a solution to implement it in AI, and they are in Thailand very adaptive for that to over the challenge, and they facilitating her work a lot. And one of the solution, before you go for the ER, you have that mobile app. You can put your symptoms, and this is will help you with the triage to know exactly when to go the OR, as long as the cold case, to decrease the waiting time on the ER. And a lot of the good story she shared with me. Her name is Taki, and I enjoy with her. So yeah, sometimes you find a good government, like what you mentioned also in Middle East, in Emirates and Saudi. I witnessed the change in Saudi. I work in Saudi and left Saudi in 2022, and I can understand exactly what you are talking about. It's completely changed, and they invest a lot and huge money in the healthcare to make it sustainable and make sure the equity for everyone within coming for the healthcare system. So if you have one recommendation, only one recommendation from your experience to make our solution and our system humanist, what solution or our recommendation? What is your first recommendation you want to give it for us?
I think again I would have more, of course, but one, I think the most important is really not only to talk, but to really put the patient in the middle. I think we designed too many solutions without, really seeing the patient, because the patient is being, I said, he has challenges about literacy, about language and all that. Not as the other point, English is nice, but many countries you cannot go to the patient with English, So we have also to talk the local language, sometimes even the dialect. And then, we have also countries that didn't talk too much, like India. India is now even bigger than China in terms of population, So those countries are going to move on, because they have a huge health challenge, but they have also talent, So a lot of solution. But again, for me, the key point is not only talk, but really put the patient in the middle. Because again, I don't have the feeling we design the solutions and all that always with the patient in the middle.
I agree. No doubt for that. We keep put these keywords, buzzword, but in reality, maybe sometimes it's not practical enough. So speaking on the hype and the buzzword, let's go for the metaverse. In metaverse, 2 years, 4 years before the AI, it was a hype and everyone talking about it. And there's a lot of individual equipment. They use it for better experience, even in the home, in the house. So if we take this metaverse and let's focus more into healthcare system and education and training system within the hospital, why you stop to use this technology or not give them that attention like before?
I think again on the other side, I just got an example last week when I was in Dubai. A doctor coming to me saying, "Philippe, we need to work together. I want you on the board and all that." The guy has already a solution. So he's telling me, I have the solution. It works. I do robot surgery in the metaverse and all that. I need you to help me to get to other hospitals. So we have existing solutions happening, but how we get it into the other hospitals. So I think the challenge before all is, first of all, again, we have multiple challenge, one being again, the newer generation will be on that, and we might not understand why they should be on that. And one day I had to talk about, comparing, the gaming industry, because of course in the gaming industry, there's a lot, about close to the metaverse, immersion and all that. So gaming industry has still a bad reputation, and again, to being addicted and all these kind of things, which I agree, it's something which is a threat for the younger generation. But would it be wrong if you get addicted to your health? Maybe it would be positive if you would take care more about her health, because, we have a kind of gaming environment where you get incentive if you have right behavior, nudging and all these kind of things. So encouraging people to have a more healthy behavior, in a gaming environment is one example. Now, of course, there's a lot. The other one is the level of progress of new stuff coming in the healthcare industry is, I don't have numbers, if it's 2 times, 3 times, 10 times, 100 times more than before. But, doctors cannot follow in terms of upskilling. And again, I'm still blessed to meet savvy doctors. The conference I'm going to, I meet the doctors that take the time to go to those events. But 80-90% of the doctors have no time. They are still sitting in their praxis. And the upskilling is the minimum they have to do, or maybe even they don't do. I would bet that some of the GP are living from, are practicing from what they learned at school and no real upskilling happening. So on the other side, the healthcare and medicine makes so much progress. So how you bring this progress? Because maybe they do even something wrong because it was what they learned at school, but today you should do it differently. Take the example on a short time of COVID. One of the biggest issue with COVID was that we have put people on ICU too quickly. The first phase, we put people too quickly on ICU, and then we had a lot of that. With the years, we learned that we should avoid to bring them there. And then we were able to save more lives. So I'm just saying things are moving so quickly in terms of knowledge, So how you get the HCPs and the workforce, also updated on that. And the metaverse is one of the options. It's 24 hours, 7 times. Maybe they can go when they think they have time to get upskilled. So you can do, and again, it's a point about education. You know that you learn better, with some visuals and whatever. Just reading has some advantage, but it's not the same that when you are immersed in the learning, and you might be better to learn in an immersed environment. And keep in mind, when I took metaverse, it doesn't mean always VR headset. We need to have a metaverse without VR headset, because it needs to be seamless and be accessible for everybody. Like the gaming, not everybody is using a headset, to play games. So forget, that it's not linked only to the.
This is that stereotype. Yeah, there is a specific equipment you need to do it. However, you can learn and upskill your skills with the metaverse from your home. Not necessary to have a high-tech equipped lab in your hospital in order to adapt the metaverse. It's still let's say the leadership, not the tech or tech savvy within the hospital. They have this misunderstanding how they can use it. And one thing I realize as a personal, maybe I'm mistaken or I cannot be as very subjective, but if I compare the metaverse and the graphics with the gaming and with the health, it's more attractive in the gaming. It's high quality, more appealing. Not like the health. It's look like very stupid and pixelated.
Yeah.
Do you have any justification why?
And I think that's a mistake, because why should it be different? Why can we not use the same technology? And I think when you prepare the talk, you know that I'm an advisor on AI Midis, So AI Midis is also very nice skills, from the CEO is actually a doctor, 12 years experience and different places in the hospitals and all that. But at the same time, he's a game tester. So he's bringing his experience of gaming and doctors together, in an AI Midis, which is an environment for healthcare. But you're fully right. When I see some of this basic stuff, you are 20 years back. MySpace or whatever we had at that time. So that's not going to help the people. It must be realistic. We talk, for example, about training for surgeon. So it must be very realistic. And because then he has advantage. You can learn, and you still have it's risk-free. You don't need, you don't risk to kill somebody or to cut something wrong because it's in a metaverse environment. Of course, it is not 100%. I had a discussion, it was a question during a panel last year where I answered to one guy in Saudi. He's saying, yeah, the students get trained on the metaverse, but when they come the first time to the real world and they see real blood, sometimes they still have some issues. Yes, I agree. It's not 100%, but you're not starting at 0%. You start maybe at 80 or 90%, and you just have to catch up on the 10%, because of course, seeing blood in the metaverse and seeing real blood on your hand might be something different. But you still can jumpstart, and not starting from scratch, because you have done something in a risk-free environment, again, 24 hours times 7. And you might know that one of my best friends, I even call it my brother, is Professor Shafi Ahmed. So Professor Shafi Ahmed is the most trusted surgeon in the world. And he did already in 2016, with the old Google glasses, he did a streaming session with 55,000 students in 142 countries. So just imagine how many classroom trainings, how many years of classroom trainings that would require to travel around the world in 142 countries to give in a 1 hour session to 150 and to 55,000 students. So I've just
Especially
said,
if you have special, unique cases and very rare cases, it's very helpful to have such like initiative and streaming worldwide, which is fantastic. And you keep telling me good story about Dr. Shafi all the time. It's high from here. We never met. I'm looking forward to meet him someday. So one of the things, Dr. Philip, also the metaverse, they try to make it just specialized for physician, which is not the case. Start to see some cases it started with the nursing background, pharmacists, they started to use it. And one of the things we at Kayan, the company which I own, try to adopt metaverse is not only for upskills, the hard skills, also the soft skills, how we communicate, how we can find those technology to have a real tough discussion with the patient, and how we transfer those discussion, how I can use this when I am burned and I need someone to help me to figure out and restructure myself. There's a lot of use cases we can use it, not only for upskills. Upskills, it's something is important from academia, but still also with the shortage which we have, we need to find that technology will help us. And this is still quite strange for the healthcare system. They have that concept. If it is metaverse, this is will go for surgeon. That's it.
No,
No one can use it.
No, you're completely right. And again, I can give you hundreds of cases. And I just had one discussion last week, and I can share, because I said I'm a kind of person. I always bring also the latest discussion, the latest stuff to the table, because again, I can have hundreds of cases, even for the metaverse happening like that, So I think, and then we may move also to the discussion about AI, because the metaverse discussion also changed because of AI. Because now you will have also data, and you can use AI for the metaverse. So one point I wanted to say when I talk AI, but I will come back to the metaverse. But when I talk AI, I'm also always most of the time trying to sell AI as a tool for the doctors. It's not a competition; it's a tool for them to make their life easier, being diagnostic, X-ray, or whatever. But don't forget, that is when you have access to a doctor. Don't forget all the people that don't have access to a doctor. And then AI alone is probably better than having no access to healthcare at all. So we should not forget that, I'm also supporting these AI agents, AI doctors, even with no doctor behind, because I said, for some people, it's a luxury to have a doctor. So AI alone can also be an option. So now coming back to the healthcare, I can give you a few examples, because you mentioned something about communication. You're right. I'm not going to give a name, but last week, a few days ago in Dubai, I had a discussion with a doctor who is working in a clinic, and he's actually complaining because his wife, who is also, managing the clinic with him, wants him to do some podcast, to register some video, to do marketing and all that. So first of all, it's challenging for him because he has to learn a script, and then they ask him, it's like a movie, change this word, change this word. And he's a doctor. And every 5 minutes, a nurse is coming into the office and asking him a question. So for him to record that video, which is a marketing video for the clinic, it's a pain. So I told him, we create an avatar of you. We create an AI doctor with you. And I'm taking no risk because it's not about diagnosing something. He's not going to do medical stuff. He's going to talk about his clinic. So, we can create a digital twin of him talking to do these marketing things, and his wife can manipulate that twin as she wants. She can change the word and everything.
Control him.
So just saying, this is possible today, and this would help him a lot to do his job as doctor, So this is just saying that's fresh from 3 days ago. So I have opportunities in the metaverse and all that. Same. Why should people go to his clinic rather than another clinic? So you can replicate this clinic in the metaverse, not something fancy, like the reality, and people can visit the clinic in the metaverse and take a decision. The second point is normally when a patient goes for surgery, he has anxiety. I don't know a lot of patients that are happy to go to the hospital for surgery. So you can handle that upfront. You can bring him in an environment so that he knows the place, he knows the people there. So when he comes physically to the place, he's in a familiar environment. There's a lot of things when a patient is coming to the hospital, is still asking a lot of questions to the nurse, to the doctor and all that, which you could handle upfront so that the doctor can start his work when the guy is coming. So I have hundreds of examples like that in the metaverse, where you could basically facilitate and make the people more efficient doing the physical job.
What was the value also? Keeping the patient away from the hospital would decrease the health acquired infection. So this is a extremely advantage with cutting the cost, with cutting the infection. So if you keep them outside and you treat them outside, you save money more that,
and again, that's valid for pre-op and post-op. Post-op is also a big topic, So the whole rehabilitation, everything you can do at home in the metaverse,
Absolutely right. I think from my experience, I had witnessed. I see it. We need more clinical and background experience. They have it in the healthcare or working as in the healthcare, or they have that experience by education to be injected and work hand by hand with the health company inside. Now we have that. I work with the health tech company, but we are as a clinical team minority. The majority, it's where they are tech savvy and they try to bring solution. That solution not necessarily it serve the hospital. So this is my philosophy, and I believe based on your discussion and what you have shared with us, we need to empower a new generation to think about technology and speak technology along with their own practice. So, doctor,
please
sorry.
don't call me doctor. I'm a patient. I'm not a doctor.
I know you are not a doctor, but yeah, it's become because we appreciate doctors because they are knowledgeable and you are extremely knowledgeable and big brain.
Now you have
and
found
thank you.
now you have found a patient that is also knowledgeable. You see?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, with the new AI era. So tell me, how you see as a patient the next generation of health technology?
So again, I think we cannot avoid it, and I don't want to avoid it, we have to move into the AI discussion, So even for me, the AI discussion, and not me as a user using it, for emails, for frameworks, for a lot of things on my daily tasks. But I started when I was still talking about the metaverse, I was in a conference in Dubai where basically I was making presentation about the metaverse, how it can help being education, being mental health, which is another topic we could talk for hours, because mental health is also a huge threat worldwide and for all the generations, not just for doctors. Everybody topic is becoming bigger. But when I did this presentation, at the end, there was a teacher, I think she was from Malaysia, and she said, "Yes, Philippe, we like that. It's we want to embrace that." And I was in front of of only scientific, doctors, nurses, and all that. So I was initially thinking, what are they going to listen about the metaverse? So they loved it, and I said, "Yes, Philippe, we want that, but who is going to provide the content?" And then I said, "Oh shit, sorry for the word, but I was saying, I want to unload the doctors, and now should I ask them to provide me the content for the metaverse, for what time? And I cannot." So that's why I started to think about, AI agent, ChatGPT and whatever, saying, I can use AI to generate this content. Based on what's out there, I can generate the content with all the publications, the medical publication, all that, and create this content rather than asking human doctors, overloaded people to provide me this content, and they have no time. So that's why I started to go also more and more into the AI discussion, AI in the metaverse as well, because you will need it. On the other side, don't forget the discussion like AI solutions, metaverse, and all that. It's not a one-way direction. It's always two-way. So more you use the metaverse, more you will have data, more you will have knowledge that you can extract and to improve it for the next one. So I think it's something. It's dynamic. It's learning by itself. So I think a lot for me. Again, metaverse is just one more platform. That's what I'm saying. I still talk about the metaverse because there are options, like I mentioned, to help to make it more immersive and going also with the younger generation who is used to that, to the gaming platforms, to also get them attracted to healthcare. I think AI is probably the biggest topic, because first of all, AI, there are different options. I also was in a project where we developed a narrow AI, where basically for women health, we have loaded 283,000 publications about women health. So there is no hallucination because there is known publication, validated publications. So which gynecologist can have 283,000 publication in his head? So AI can do that. A human being cannot do that. So of course, we are not replacing the doctors, but we give him upfront information so the patient can go in, communicate with the AI doctor, get the symptoms and all that, and then recommendation to which specialist they should go. We can even book the appointment for him. So again, you come back to the bureaucracy, how we can reduce the bureaucracy for the patient. Because I don't know, when I listen to my wife taking appointments for her mother, it's a nightmare. She's spending hours on the phone, waiting for somebody to pick up the phone on the other side, and then you get it, and then when they get the cancellation and all, it's a nightmare just to get an appointment. So I think today IT systems and AI can help you a lot, to remove that burden. Because again, we always see the burden only from the doctor side, but we should again think more about the patient. What is the patient experience, with the healthcare system in different.
And we keep saying we need to empower the patient and make them a part from the treatment plan. And this is all those bullshit, with all respect for all the audience. And this is the good use cases. As you mentioned, we can use the technology and AI in the future to use it. I know this episode will make many of healthcare professional pissed out from us, but this is the reality and we need to adapt that, and we need to find a good solution to bring it on the table.
And maybe another things, if you're just addressing, the healthcare professionals, first of all, they should not hate us, they should love us, because again, it's not competition with them, it's trying to make their life easier. I have a lot of understanding. If I come back to some of my friends, surgeon or whatever, I'm not going to give the exact numbers, but when I asked them, in the past, what was the record time they were on duty without sleep? Some people, again, it's not allowed today anymore, but in the past, some people went up to 90 hours. So would you put your hand in the hand of a surgeon that didn't sleep for 90 hours? So his brain, his hands, the hands are shaking, the brain is sleeping, So it's just human being. I have understanding for that. But again, that should not be, you should not take that risk. So AI
is a tool we can.
That's not going to happen,
This is the challenge, like what started with the technology, with the internet. There's a lot of resistance now. Everyone cannot live without internet. The same will be applied with the AI. It needs some time to have this kind of change.
And the other point is also, unfortunately, the AI has a negative perception in the Western world. It starts with science fiction movies. The science fiction movies about AI, always catastrophic. We are losing control of AI. AI is taking over, it's killing us and all that kind of stuff. I have not seen yet a positive movie about AI, not where AI is helping us, where AI, let's make a movie where AI is making the life easier of doctors and not getting out of control.
Those was old movies as science fiction. Now we live the reality. In the past, it was science fiction. I think, we need to change this stereotype in the media and try to bring real use cases for the AI.
And again, I have friends, doctors that give example, where AI has diagnosed, cancer, which a doctor didn't see and stuff like that. You're saving life, and I don't want to mention that because, again, I have too much respect for the doctors. But you know that in the US, the third causes of death is still medical errors. We are humans. I make errors like everybody, but the medical error is bigger than maybe my error has bigger consequences, but we are human. There is nobody to blame about that. So if we can reduce those errors, by assisting the doctors, with AI, and at the end, doctor still has the last word to say if he accepts, what AI is saying or not. But at least he might get some direction he has not seen. But there's a lot happening in the radiography space, in the X-ray and all that, where AI can be more precise than our human eye.
Yeah. And the medical error and the patient-centric concern still, it's a big topics. However, we try since long time to bring a technology to serve this and help
And
the
that in the
hospital.
US is becoming a big issue because some doctors are even afraid now to do something because you know how much you pay in the US if you get sued for a medical error,
Absolutely
So
right.
you better do nothing than taking a risk, So the poor guys are under huge threat.
Yeah, I want to take from you advice for my audience, and especially I want to be a little bit biased, and I will take this advice, put it in the short. So, what is your advice for all nurses who are struggling in their career and they witness a burnout and they get what I will mention? They are very frustrated from the healthcare system and they are looking to leave the profession, especially when they are young, only 2 years or 3 years of a practice and experience.
So I think it's a very tough question because unfortunately it's a reality, and there are many reasons for that, So first of all, I think the recognition, so that they are recognized for what they are doing, and of course that's also linked to the wages, to the salary, because they are underpaid, and they are not paid for what they're really doing, So there are some out people making easier money, in fintech or whatever, and they don't have the same responsibility that even a nurse would have. So I think recognizing the value for what they are bringing and recognizing it's not just like clapping on the window we did, during COVID, we clapped on the window and 1 year later, we forgot all what they did, so it should be recognized also in terms of the salary and what they are doing, because it's an amazing job, they are doing and really. Now the issue about burnout is even worse, because again, as I said, there's burnout everywhere, but burnout in healthcare professionals is very high, being doctors, but also nurses. So that's not helping, because again, you cannot perform, if you are in burnout. And should we talk about the burnout, what is one of the biggest issue of burnout? I was recently on a panel in Saudi where they asked me to talk about mental health and regulation. And my point was, if I took, and mental health is more than burnout or depression, but I took just burnout and depression. What is the issue if you are in burnout or depression? It's not the flu. You don't take a pill or antibiotics and in 1 or 2 weeks you're back. You may be out, for months. I'm not talking weeks, months, or maybe even years for some people. So the issue becomes the employer, not because you become a burden for the employer. The employer is trying to get rid of you because you're not productive anymore. You're always absent. So we need to protect those people. If we talk regulation, they should be protected, that they are not under threat like that. Especially that most of the time the burnout came because of the work. You can have burnout because of your private life, but probably 90% of the time it's coming from your work environment. So how can the employer forget that, trying to get rid of you because you are not productive anymore, while maybe the condition under those you had to work are responsible for your burnout. So I think, again, coming back to the nurse, is recognition of the amazing work they are doing, and the recognition might also be linked to financial compensation, and then also the people things. Actually, I hear more and more about issues about nurses and doctors getting threatened by patients. The respect is not there anymore. There's misbehavior. They are shouting at nurses and doctors sometimes, because they want to get a sick leave from the work and the doctor is not prescribing it. And the same for the nurses. The nurses are doing an amazing job. I said I was a long time not at the hospital, I think since I was 12 years old, but last year I was at the hospital for surgery. They are so lovely person that I'm saying, we need to respect those people. We should not abuse. So we have, again, to what I started before, we have to become human again. They are not machine. So we have to recognize them for what they are being. They are amazing, lovely humans,
Yeah, thank you for that kind word. And I believe you can support this community. I will, as I told you, I am working on the project supporting the nurses, and I'm pretty sure we will connect with you and you will give us more advice and access from your experience to help those community. We tried as much as we can to stop the bleeding of the turnover and keep them focus oriented in their work, and also live their life and be happy of what they are doing. And we need them, because in the future there is no doctor, there is no nurses who will take care for us. Phil, thank you for your time and appreciate it. I'm looking forward to having you again and share more excitement, experience, and project you have done, and you are looking forward to having you again and again. Thank you.
Thank you very much, for the invitation. It was very interesting, to have this.
It is my pleasure. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
If this episode sparked something in you, here's how you can keep our mission alive. Subscribe to Uncharted Narratives S2E7-AI's. Leave us a 5-star review. It helps more amazing people discover our stories. Share an episode that moved you with a colleague or friend. Connect with me on LinkedIn and join our healthcare innovation community. Together, we're not just telling stories. Until next time, stay curious, stay passionate, and keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible in healthcare. See you in the next episode of Uncharted Narratives S2E7-AI's.